Well, folks, according to my clock, but not the clock in the back of the room, but according to the clock on the computers, it is 6 o'clock. And so I will call the meeting of the Common Council of the City of Platteville to order. It is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, again at 6 p.m. And we're in the council chambers at the City of Platteville. Jerica, are you back there? I can't see you. Jerica, we'll start with roll call.
Bob Gates,
Here.
Ken Killian,
Here.
Tom Nall,
Here.
Lynn Parrott,
Here.
Kathy Kopp,
Here.
Todd Casper, Barb Doss,
Here. Okay, the first item on our agenda is consideration of the consent agenda. The following items may be approved on a single motion and vote due to their routine nature or previous discussion. If you want separate discussion, please let me know. Council minutes from May 28th, our regular meeting, payment of bills, the financial reports for May. Tonight, I have no appointments for boards or commissions. We have licenses, 1- and 2-year operator licenses to serve and sell alcohol as were in your packet. The annual fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license renewals, as are in your packet. Permits, the banner permit for the UW Platteville Homecoming activities to hang from September 23rd to October 13th. A parade permit for the UW Platteville Homecoming Parade on Saturday, October 12th, starting at 10 a.m. And a fireworks permit for the Fireworks Committee. This would be the 4th of July fireworks at Legion Field.
I move to approve all items listed under the consent agenda.
I'll second. All right, Jerica, we have a motion and a second. We'll vote.
Gates,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Nall,
Yes.
Parrott,
Yes.
Kopp,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
motion carries.
All right, under citizens' comments, observations, and petitions, if any, I've had 3 people who have requested to speak. As is our practice, the limitation is that you would speak no more than 5 minutes, and tonight that's particularly evident when we have 3. So I'll call first on Patrick Gale, who's with Uplands Wind / Pattern Energy.
Thank you for the opportunity to come address you guys tonight. Just want to stop out and introduce myself. My name is Patrick Gale. I work with Pattern Energy on the Uplands Wind Project. That is the wind farm development going on mostly east of town here in Iowa, Grant, and Lafayette counties. I know in the past some of you have worked with Michael Goff, who is our lead developer on the project, and he will still be your main point of contact moving forward. But I came on the team a few months ago to help out, especially with local governments and nonprofits in the community area. Just want to come out, introduce myself, make myself available as a resource to all of you. Happy to address any questions now. Otherwise, I'm planning to stick around till after the meeting as well, and happy to chat with anyone about the project now or in the future. And I can get contact information to every one of you. So,
Okay, well, thank you,
Thank
Patrick, and welcome to our Southwest Wisconsin community. Okay, I have Sharon Clevens, who wants to talk about flying the pride flag.
Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Sharon Clavins. I live at 1210 Sunset Drive here in Platteville. I'm also a member of the advisory with the board for the Southwest Wisconsin Rainbow Alliance. And I realized a couple of years ago, there was some discussion about whether other flags than the national flag in the Wisconsin at City Hall. So I'm coming to bring this topic to your attention again. I realize that we missed the deadline for June. I think it just didn't occur to us that it wouldn't be something we could do until somebody was like, no, actually there's new legislation or new policy about this. So we started inquiring, and so we wanted to bring this back to the attention of the council, because this is our 4th year for hosting the annual Pride in the Park, which will be this Saturday. The first year we had, somewhere a couple of dozen participants. The second year we drew four. Last year, we had around 1,000 people who attended the Pride in the Park event. We expect this to be a continuing increase in participation of people coming from the tri-state area and even farther away. We have vendors and performers coming from Milwaukee, from all around the state. And it is a family-friendly, welcoming environment until you look around the city of Platteville and you see on Main Street 2 pride flags, one flying at Driftless Market and one in the window of Badger Brothers, which are up all year round. June is Pride Month. The governor has recently declared that it is okay. He authorized all, and let's see, sorry, I'm not very eloquent about this, and I forgot my glasses. Authorizes state buildings in any jurisdiction of the state of Wisconsin to fly the Progress Pride flag during the month of June. And it is flying over the Capitol even as we speak. So all of these people who will be coming will see that there's no recognition of pride by the city. So we would like to petition. Ultimately, we understand that it might not be possible this late to have the flag flying this Saturday to be approved, but we would like, again, to find out what we would need to.
Thank you. And Clint, you might want to include in your next information to the council our current policy. Okay, thank you. And I also have Kevin Reed, who wants to speak on praise and honor.
By the Lord of sea and sky, I have heard my people cry. All who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will save. I will make the stars of night, I will make their darkness bright. Who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my home. I, the Lord of snow and rain, I have borne my people's pain. I have wept for love of them. They turn away. I will break their hearts of stone, give them hearts for love alone. I will speak my word to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I, the Lord of wind and flame, I will tend the poor and lame. I will set a feast for them. My hand will save. Finest bread I will provide, till their hearts be satisfied. I will give my life to them. Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. Oh, I will hold your people in my
This is not the present word of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on into the, I had one other person register to speak, but that person's comments will come when we go to the agenda item on the Claire properties. Okay, yeah, because we'll have that. It's our practice, if it's on the agenda, that we discuss it at that time. Okay, okay, that's fine. Okay, reports then that were in the packet. There was the Police and Fire Commission report. Kathy, anything to add?
I just wanted to add that we did at last week's meeting, host the interviews for the lieutenant pool. And all I can say is that we should be very proud of our department. We had some excellent candidates.
Okay, other reports in your packet were the water and sewer financial report for May, the airport financial report for May, and department progress reports. Any comments, questions, or? Ken?
Department Progress Report, Nicola, Finance Division. I talked with you briefly today about this. This is the controller, and you changed the title of that position to what now?
So the accounting and finance manager. So formerly the position was the comptroller position. We titled the position in order to try to throw out a wider net on our recruiting efforts. When we were recruiting last time, we did not find that yielded a larger pool. So we made the decision to change the title to accounting and finance manager, which is similar to what it was in the past.
Okay. The next page says you updated, let's see, what's this underneath? Updated municipal code book, distribute and post. Is that available to people? Can a council member get a copy of the code book? What is
Yes,
the situation?
The code book is always available through the website, through the city website for all the members of the public, as well as for the council and staff. If there were certain sections that you would like to have printed out, we'd be glad to accommodate that request.
Otherwise, how many pages would it be?
Oh, golly, that's a very large book, so I'd have to look into how many pages altogether it would be.
And information technology interviews for city support liaison and input on hiring decision. What is that? Is that IT hiring somebody?
Yes, so we have a contract with the university to provide IT support. There is a position that the university employs, which is the city support liaison. And we are in a transition between our last city support liaison and a new one. We actually have, the university has hired a new city support liaison. He starts on Monday. His name is Rafe.
I believe those are my questions. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, I would like to call out our Parks and Rec Director and Forestry Director, Bob Lau. Bob, can you update us on how we're proceeding with swimming this summer, particularly how we're proceeding and with the employees that we had employed and perhaps are still employing?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Thank you. It's a piece of good news regarding the pool, and that we have actually been working a good deal with UWP, and they have been a great partner in this. And because of that, we've had only lost 2 weeks of lessons. So the pool will open June 17th. It'll be fully staffed, lifeguards with city lifeguards. We have retained 21 guards and 15 attendants. So we had hired 25 guards, and only like 4 or 5 have decided to not do the lifeguarding for the summer. So we've retained just a lot of guards. Also, in the good news is that we in fact will be opening at 6 a.m. and that will be for lap swim. And then our lessons will start. And then every day we'll actually have portions of open swim. So Monday through Sunday, we will have open swim. So we will also maintain our swim team, which will have 30 members in it. So we're very, very pleased, considering that we had to do this on the fly and get it all done in 2 weeks. Adam Bartles has just been amazing with this.
Okay, so kudos to you and Adam and to our partners at UW-Platteville for taking what was a terrible situation. And I'm not going to say making it perfect, but certainly making it doable for our kids our kids and our adults in this community. So thank you very much for that. I also see that you've had some recent donations. Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah, we've had quite a bit of work done at the Legion Park. PYDS has always been a
PYBS, you're going to tell us what
yeah,
that means.
Platteville Youth Diamond Sports. They've been a great partner of ours as far as putting on youth softball and baseball. And they have been doing more improvements on the cages, the netting. They have partners that pour cement that don't cost us. So we're putting in new dugouts at Abbing Field. So we've just been working just a ton with them, and it's shown great progress. A lot of this we needed to get done. Part of this also, we took some of the old dugouts that we had temporary, put them down by Abbing till we build the new ones. And this allowed us to put on that cement slab right behind the pool house, a nice donation by Inspiring Communities for Platteville Youth Inclusive Playground, a shed that will store in the winter months some of the equipment, miscellaneous items. So it's a 12 by 16 vinyl siding shed with a 412 slope. So it's a real shed. It's a great addition. We want to thank you to them as well.
Any other department heads who want to give an update? Perhaps Ryan?
Sure, I would assume we're talking about what's coming up on the 22nd is one thing that we have. So the 22nd of June, we have the fire department's 150th celebration. Starts off with a fire truck parade down Main Street at 10 a.m., as well as festivities at Legion Field starting at noon through the evening. So there'll be lots of fun activities for the whole family up there. There's no cost to get into the event or listen to any of the music acts that will be there, but there will be food and beverages available for purchase.
And how's your building project going?
Our building project is going great. We are moving into the next phase for design with it. And our fundraising, I believe, is about close to 1.2 million of the 1.5 that we need to hit for our goal. So we're getting really close to hitting our target goal. So anybody still interested in supporting the project is able to reach out to myself at the fire department or Inspiring Communities or any of the committee members to help you along with that. But we thank everybody for the support, and things are moving along. So thank you.
I had a question.
Yes.
Question for the city manager. Down at the bottom, significant objectives for the coming month. Discussion with UW Platteville leadership regarding urban forestry. So what is there going to be a program as far as urban forestry on campus or in the city?
Looking to see what resources may be available on from the UW's perspective. In talking with Director Lau, we've had success with interns that have been helping with the Recreation Department over the past few summers. As just it may not end up at this, but as a vision that we might try to pursue to see if it's feasible would be to have somebody that would be able to come in and help us with our lift on forestry. And perhaps that starts with being able to do a comprehensive plan across the city to document all of our trees and to have appropriate categories put in with those on their species and life expectancy and their conditions and some of that. So looking to just initiate a discussion like that. Whether or not we can arrive at a solution like that is yet to be determined.
Well, thus far in urban forestry, what I see is money for removing stumps and money for what street up brush. So in my opinion, there needs to be a broader program for covering the city more with increased population of trees where people are willing to put them in.
There's certainly lots of opportunities and it is a spectrum. Our initial conversations we plan on having with the UW is what might be step one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll move into the action portion of our agenda. We have one action item. That would be Industry Park land sale of lot 44. Joe.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we have a business that's interested in purchasing a lot in the industry park. It'd be a 5-acre lot on the northwest corner of East Side Road and Vision Drive, lot 44. As you mentioned, it's 5 acres, has frontage on East Side Road and Vision Drive, but the access itself would be on Vision Drive. They are looking at putting up one building to start with, but they are in the refrigerated warehousing industry. So it'd be a building that has warehouse space, offices, and a small retail component. And then all goes well, they would build another larger warehouse in the future. And if all goes well after that, they do have also an interest in acquiring at some point in the future the adjacent lot, lot 45. So at this point, they would like to get an option to purchase for that lot as well. But the sale of the property would be subject to our land price formula. So the ultimate sale price would depend on the value of the improvements that they make, the number of jobs they create, and the pay of those jobs. So staff would recommend approval of the lot sale subject to the land price formula and a development agreement. And also we would recommend approval of the option to purchase for lot 45. And the PADIC board and plan commission both also recommended approval. Any questions?
Any questions? Yeah, Abby, do you have anything you want to add or not? Okay. So anybody questions or are we ready for some action?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the sale of lot 44 of Platteville Industry Park number 7, following the land price formula and subject to a development agreement and approval of an option to purchase for lot 45.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to move forward with the sale of lot 44 in Platteville Industry Park number 7. Jerica will vote.
Gates,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Nall,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Hop,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, we'll move now into the information and discussion portion of our agenda. The first of this is the compliance maintenance annual report for 2023. Howard.
Yes, thank you very much. This is a report required by the DNR to be submitted by June 30th every year. So this is our report for calendar year 2023. It's a self-report on the condition of our treatment plant, the collection system, the experience of our operating personnel, and our financial and managerial capacity to run the system. The plant is in excellent condition and we have exceptional staff. We are graded A in all areas for 2023. Our financial condition is stable and management procedures are in place. We have a resolution that is required by the DNR to demonstrate that the council has reviewed the CMAR and approved the submission. The Water and Sewer Commission will review this tomorrow and make a recommendation for next time.
Okay, questions on the compliance maintenance annual report, which is an annual self-report. We take a look through our stuff and report back to DNR. Any questions? Otherwise, this will come to the Water and Sewer Commission tomorrow night, and then their recommendation will come to us at the next council meeting on the 26th, I think it is. Is that right?
Yes.
25th. I was close. Any questions? Okay, then we'll move to our next agenda item, which is the purchase, our recent land acquisition of Clare Properties. So we'll start, Clint.
Madam President, on Thursday, May 30th, 2024, the city successfully bid on 3 tracts of land through the property auction, marking a significant step towards addressing a pressing demand for more housing in the area. As put out in your packet, you'll see the summary sheet that has those 3 tracts of which council is very familiar with at this point, and folks at the public, you'd be able to see that also in our packet underneath the minutes and agendas. The 3 tracts of properties include tract 3, which is adjacent to the apartments on Jackson Street, tract 5, which is kind of by the intersection of Brant and Lincoln and stretches down towards the trail, and then tract 6, which is a large property that stretches up Lincoln Street to Madison and then kind of curves around out on Mitchell Hollow Road out towards the city boundary or towards the open field. So with those 3 tracts, the total bid for all 3 properties was awarded at $412,000. Now, this money that we're paying for these tracts is not coming from tax levy. It is coming through a legacy housing development grant, which originally went towards the Roundtree apartments when they were converted. There was a transfer in property ownership, and as part of that, the owners had to settle liens, which had then a little over $900,000 of anticipated funds that came back to the city. That program has been discontinued with the federal government, so those funds then remained with the city. Although it's been discontinued, the original grant agreement states that the program income shall be used by the grantee to support the construction, rehabilitation, or operation of real property to be used primarily for low to moderate income residential purposes. Now, to the best of our knowledge, there's no longer a monitoring or enforcement of compliance with these funds. However, we'd recommend that the city invest these funds into initiatives that will have the direct or secondary impacts to facilitate low to moderate income housing opportunities in the community, as that's what those tax dollars originated from at a federal type of a level. So from a staff perspective, we're going to begin necessary preliminary actions of closing the property transactions, which will include formal recommendation to the Plan Commission and a resolution to this body to close that. And then after closing, we're going to ensure that the parcels are surveyed for further planning. It's important for the public to understand right now that those parcels, while we have won the bid, are not public grounds. Those are still public tracts of land. And until we've closed on them,
Private tracts.
I'm sorry, private, thank you. Still private tracts of land, and to make sure we respect that. So tonight, with that being said, we've had discussions on this in closed sessions, and obviously this is the first time we're kind of mentioning it now in open session. We queued it up as an information and discussion for some exchange. Staff recommends Common Council provide some guidance to myself and staff on this. Kind of the two main points that I think would be helpful in guiding how we organize ourselves is an oversight body, identifying if this is going to be a Common Council project handled directly at this forum, or if it is going to be passed to a Plan Commission or some other body to kind of oversee the planning and possible development of a request for proposal or proposals in developing these tracts. And then what are some of the broad and general goals that the council envisions with these parcels? And with that kind of as a tee up, I will pass it back to yourself, Madam President.
Okay, well, first of all, special thanks to Joe and the team that did the bidding, and I understand it was an interesting process to bid online. So thank you very much. I understand it even took maybe a half hour longer than, probably was 5:30 before it closed. Yeah. So anyway, so I do have a couple of people in the audience who have asked to speak. If any council member wants to speak first. All right, Harry. You go to the microphone, you introduce yourself, you say where you live, and then he wants to talk about the new land purchase and his idea for layout.
Okay, yeah, my name is Harry Keys here, and I live here in Platteville. I live over on Westwood Court or by Westview Elementary School. And the thing of it is, I saw that they purchased the land for, which, tell you truthfully, I was kind of, I admit I was the one who went up to Joe and suggested my idea first thing before they purchased the land and that, but I honestly thought, you know, like track 6 or so. Let's see where I can see on the map here. Yeah, track 6, that right along Lincoln Street could be like side by side duplexes or so, 1-story duplexes or so, 850 square feet or so for anybody, like young people like me or people wanting to retire or whatever, you know, have those along Lincoln Street there. And then kind of where Lincoln Street and Grant Street were to intersect right there. I thought we could put like a pocket neighborhood there or something. And we could probably expand Lincoln Street down to Jackson Street, and then maybe we could put like a apartment building there and plot out some things for single family housing or some townhouses or little cottages, kind of somewhere in between there. And then kind of on that land on the other side of the bike trail there on the map where it's wooded. I think I remember seeing that they did have like a street plotted there. It was called like Doris Court or something, or I don't know. That's what I remember seeing from a recent map or so. But anyway, you know, that could be single family housing back in there for like a cul-de-sac or something. It's just the thing of it is with me, where I currently live at on Westwood Court is that my place doesn't have internet laundry, which is something I would kind of like to have, you know, which is, yeah, I mean, that would be awesome to have. And, you know, kind of something with maybe like $875 a month or something for the places along Lincoln Street that I suggested. I mean, of course, that's what I thought would be great. I mean, thing of it is, I just like how it's right by the bike trail there, and I could just take my bike outside and just bike ride without having to drive all the way to the other part of town.
Okay, Harry, thank you for sharing.
So I got a question for you,
Oh.
Harry. Do you have like a specific layout? Like, are you into architecture? Like, could your vision be a design? Or are you just giving us your ideas of?
Well, I actually do have like a thing I drew out on my phone, but I'm not sure if anybody could see it really from where I'm standing.
Well, I
Probably.
tell you what, Harry, why don't you send whatever you drew out to Joe? Or if he doesn't have it already,
He showed me it, but I don't have a copy.
but you don't have it. So you can put your name on it and send it to Joe.
Yeah.
Because this is not something that's gonna happen tomorrow. This is.
Yeah,
something
I
we'll
figured
be
that.
Discussing over time. So why don't you send it along to Joe? And then he can put it in packets of information as we move forward.
Sure, I could do that.
Yeah,
That'd
thank
be
you for
great.
your interest. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, council members. I think Clint asked a couple of questions.
Yeah,
What are some broad and general goals that you might envision? Kathy?
I actually think this is a very timely opportunity for us. For those of us that attend Grant County Economic Development every month, surrounding communities are always talking about initiatives to help with their housing issue. This one just kind of landed in our lap. And I guess one of the things that I would like to see is that as we go into this, I think just the presentation we heard, I would like to, at least for part of the focus is not to discredit low and moderate income, but we've been talking about workforce housing. And that, I think, covers a lot of ground. So just the concept that we're looking to increase our housing to actually support the businesses, get more people to move here.
Other comments?
No, like what Kathy said, and I was just making notes, the workforce housing. I think when we acquired or when we got the Ruxton, didn't we do something where we had to put, is there like a clause or some stipulation where there had to be so many low income places offered? So maybe maybe it'll be a slash, because we still want to honor what the
Legacy
the
grant.
whole thing, yeah, right. We still wanna do that, but I
So-
Going in that umbrella of affordable housing,
Right.
but
right.
perhaps a balanced portfolio of what that looks like.
So Lynn, Joe, can you speak to Ruxton was built by it was not built by the city, it was built
Right.
by a developer.
Correct.
And explain the low to moderate income, how that.
Sure. Yeah. So well, that project received, in addition to city input, as far as financing, their primary financing mechanism was low-income housing tax credit through the state. And then they also received a home loan or grant from the federal government. So those requirements included, they had a series of steps or categories that they had to meet regarding the income of the residents that would live there. A certain percentage were market rate, a certain percentage were 80% of the county median income, 70%, 60%. So they had a formula that they had to meet in order to match those requirements of those funding sources.
So it was the funding source that the developer had that required those kind of things. So that's not a city imposed,
Correct. That came from the state.
that
and
came from
federal
the state and
government.
federal government regulations.
Yeah, I think what I'm hitting on, but I'm glad we cleared that up, is that however, because even though we purchased the land, was one of the goals to find developers that would develop this, right? And so I was thinking maybe we could, in doing that, if we could, to assure that we did get some low and moderate with the workforce housing, work along the same plan as they had. Again, I didn't
I
get the
think
whole
that's,
gist of the Ruxton, but I know that just in talking and
Right.
that's how it happens. There have to be so many loads. so.
Clint, do you want to speak to an RFP?
Okay.
What you
That's
could
kind of-
accomplish with I mean, we would hold the land, but I don't see that the city would ever be a builder. I mean, yeah, I don't think the city would ever be a builder. So in order to get a builder, you do what?
We would be working together with staff and subject matter experts to try to help us craft RFPs or series of RFPs, depending on how we view that we would want to proceed with it. It might be more actionable to try to do one section of it, establish that, as to not try to, overflood a market with housing type of. In building an RFP, then we're looking for general goals tonight, and what I'm seeing is kind of a mixed portfolio of affordable, low to moderate senior housing types of projects, and to be able to put it out so that developers would be coming forward knowing what the needs and the wants are, as well as what the resources of the cities are. And so the second part of that then is in guiding that conversation, where would you like that conversation to be held? Do you want it at a council business meeting, or do you want it with a planning commission, separate type of a subcommittee put together? That would be the next question.
Two things. I think to have that discussion here would be difficult. So I think it needs to be some kind of other kind of working committee, whether that be the plan commission or something of that nature. The other thing I would think that we would want to do would be to have a conversation with people who are in the community, who are selling houses, people who have recently perhaps bought houses, just to kind of assess what needs might be there. I mean, what are realtors seeing? What are people asking for that they can't find? What limitations exist? Because the limitations then speak to the opportunity to move forward. So kind of, I think it would be nice to have that conversation maybe in some kind of open forum, and not necessarily limited, I mean, kind of a public open forum. So it's not like
Listening
it's an
sessions.
invitation only.
Listening session
Yeah.
/ work
Right.
session with a group, yeah.
Yeah.
I would also like to somehow include, or looking for the word, have a representative or someone from the surrounding neighborhood. Because the last proposal
Sure.
that came
Mhm.
was upsetting to the neighborhood,
Mhm.
and that didn't go anywhere.
Yep, and I
So-
think that,
I want to be respectful of, I think we need to be respectful of the existing neighborhood and whether it be through a public forum. Thoughts, but to be sensitive that, I mean, it's a beautiful neighborhood down there. People, I'd rather have them be part of the.
yeah.
Part of the
And
plan.
another real important part of the plan are people who finance. So bankers and other people need to be involved in that conversation too, because, so I think some open forums of discussion, not necessarily all have to be held at City Hall, maybe being held at near or whatever. I mean, we do have Mound View Park. It does have a shelter if we pick a nice day. It's not a bad idea. I think this gives us opportunity, but it's not going to, I think people should be assured that they're not going to see foundations go in tomorrow.
Okay, I
There's-
have a question, first for Lynn. Are you talking about, Section 8 housing?
Well, that was specifically where that's how I found out about the deal. People were telling me that like there was so many apartments that had to be sectioned off for housing, which is Section 8 housing.
Yes, well, I see with Section 8 that housing, some of this is really not in very good condition. So certainly I'd like to see more in the way of Section 8, so people can live in better housing. Some of these things that I've seen as far as Section 8, substandard housing. So I think Section 8 needs to be improved, and people should be going into better housing. And not just because you have a certain income or something. So I think a lot can be done, that needs to be done.
Okay, Clint, do you have enough?
I believe I do. Is there, unless
Okay,
there's
anybody
any
else?
question from our staff down here, do we feel like we've got?
No, I just wanted to clarify for everybody, and people may know what an RFP is, but I am on the airport commission. I'm bombarded with acronyms. But for those of you that don't, it's a request for proposals. So we'd be putting out a request for proposals from builders and then determining who would be doing the building.
Okay. I believe that concludes the public portion of our agenda tonight. Clint, I would suggest that we won't see the Claire property acquisition come back to the council until we get to the point of being able to get closing documents and those kinds of things.
Correct. That would be the next that you would.
So the next issues will be the legal issues that actually get the land transferred from the current ownership to our ownership. And we probably won't be talking about any development until we have that clear and free. But again, anybody who has ideas, you should make those known. You can send Clint email at citymanager@platteville.org. I know that he's available. Others on Joe is available. So if you have ideas, by all means, share those. All right, so that will not come back onto the agenda for action next time. The action item next time will be the compliance maintenance annual report. Now I would take a motion to go to closed session for Wisconsin State Statute 1985, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Again, this is about a possible land acquisition.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Bob and a second by Kathy to go to closed session per statute. Jerica will vote.
Gates,
Yes.
Killian,
Yes.
Null,
Yes.
Parrot,
Yes.
Cop,
Yes.
Doss,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay.